judiciary to thwart the president's agenda. If a federal district court judge would like executive powers, they can try and run for president themselves. Joining us now is Oscar Arbulu, Deputy Political Director for Common Defense, one of the plaintiffs of this lawsuit. Common Defense is a grassroots organization of U.S. military veterans focused on progressive issues. Oscar, thanks for being with us. So the judge says it's illegal. The White House says, no, it's fine, you're fired. Will this stick here?
Thanks for having me, Raj. It will, because what the judge ruled was that OPM had no authority to tell the agencies, all these different departments, including the VA, the Veterans Affairs, that they have to fire folks. The judge just said that was not possible. And in his first ruling, when the government presented their case, the judge actually said, well, okay, so that some of the government employees who have unions will be able to go use their processes, and that necessarily wasn't true. And the judge today called that out. So this is a huge win for a lot of veterans and veterans' families.
Oscar, you work with veterans here. How many veterans are impacted or potentially impacted by these Trump, Elon Musk layoffs?
Raj, a lot. OPM actually, funny enough, in 2021 did a report that said the federal workforce is approximately 30% veteran. After decades of being able to offer veterans a pipeline to work, you see the example of that in federal employees. And so it has to be in the thousands. It's impossible to count. And then we also have family members. So you have folks who are adjacent as well who are going to be impacted by this. And we, Common Defense, are collecting stories within the 50,000 members that we have of them being impacted or their parents being impacted, family members being impacted. So this cuts a really wide net, and it's scary for a lot of veteran families.
Should there be some of these employees that are laid off, meaning are their jobs redundant, or maybe we don't need them? And how would you go about that? If they came to you and said, could you lay off 10% of your staff, is that something that you would do?
No. And so what we would do is we would follow the channel. And that's the case that the judge today was making, is that there actually is a way for this to happen. A reduction in force was part of the argument. And I was not, as a lawyer, I can't speak exactly how the lawyers speak, but the reduction in force is one thing because it has its processes, and this wasn't that. And the judge was saying that this was kind of being blanketed as that when it's not, when it did not follow those appropriate channels. And actually, to quote the judge today, he said, it's a sad day when our government would fire some good employees and say it was based on performance when they know good and well that that's a lie. Meaning that one of the examples was an employee who was not just probationary and there for, a couple of months, but was there and just recently received a report that said that they met above and beyond their expectations. And then that person was given a letter, the OPM template, saying that you're being fired based on your performance.
We know it's frustrating for a lot of people. Final question for you. Do you expect that we'll start seeing employees back on the job soon? What comes next, basically?
Well, I don't know how quickly the government can work, because you can see the administration is going in the opposite direction, right? They're trying to reduce the force and lay off as many people as possible. What comes next for Common Defense is going to be that we're going to continue to collect stories, and we're going to continue to amplify the voices of veterans and their families to make sure that it's continually heard, and that, in cases like this, we're speaking up. I believe I saw that the government is going to appeal. But again, we are arming ourselves with as many voices, as many sources as possible to let the government know that this is affecting so many Americans.
Oscar Arbulu with the Deputy Political Director for Common Defense. Appreciate your time. Have a good evening.
You too, Raj. Thank you.
Up next, a lot of power.